The FBI had a program called COINTELPRO, in which it completely trampled on the rights of Americans, open mail. And during this period, a letter was sent to Martin Luther King, who was about to get the Nobel Peace Prize. And I think it had like some tapes of King having an affair. And the letter, which I believe was written by William Sutherland, told King that he needed to commit suicide before he accepted the Nobel Prize, or these tapes would come out. COINTELPRO is really nasty, especially like with the American Indian movement and also the Black Panthers. And there's evidence that COINTELPRO definitely contributed to the death of Fred Hampton, who was a Black Panther in Chicago. But there was a member of the American Indian movement named Emery Aquash, and the FBI floated information that she was an informant, and she was murdered by two members of the American Indian movement because they thought she was an informant.
In the mid-20th century, the Federal Bureau of Investigation conducted a secret domestic operation that would later be acknowledged as unlawful and abusive. The program was called COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program. Its existence remained hidden from the public for years. When documents were eventually released and declassified, they revealed a coordinated campaign of surveillance, disruption, and intimidation directed at American citizens and lawful organizations. COINTELPRO formally began in 1956. Its stated purpose was national security. Internally, the program targeted groups the FBI leadership considered politically dangerous. These included civil rights organizations, anti-war activists, labor groups, black liberation movements, and political dissident.
We tried to develop negative information to discredit him, just like we did everybody else. We, meaning the FBI, I tried to come up with signs of him doing drugs or something, and never could. He was clean. He was dedicated. I've had private conversations with him. We got along pretty well. For about 7 months, I was his personal bodyguard. He wouldn't go anywhere without me. And I know Fred Hampton better than anybody, to tell you the truth. He was dedicated. That's all I can say to it.
Many of these groups were operating legally and peacefully under the protections of the U.S. Constitution. The core method of COINTELPRO was not investigation for prosecution. It was disruption. FBI memos instructed agents to expose, disrupt, misdirect, discredit, or otherwise neutralize targeted individuals and organizations. This language, preserved in declassified files, shows intent that went far beyond intelligence gathering.
What groups did you infiltrate in New York?
In New York, it was the Black Panther Party, Queens section.
How far into the organization did you get, and how'd you do it?
What I did was, I was a member of the party already in the California area. All I did was travel up and say I was checking out the party in the Queens area. What happened was, though, I only stayed with that assignment for, 2.5 days. We found out later, we found out then that it was infiltrated heavily by the New York Police Department.
Agents use informants to infiltrate organizations. These informants were encouraged to create internal conflict. They spread rumors, forged letters, and provoked disputes between leaders. In some cases, false accusations were planted to destroy trust from within.
In the first interview, you touched on the fact that you were involved in some way in the robbery of arms from the armory, weapons from the armory.
Yes.
Give us the details and what just went down.
What happened was that the Black Liberation Army, was in need of weapons. This was relayed to my supervising agent.
By you?
By me. Okay. He said, well, why don't you go back to them and tell them that you have a plan to get some weapons?
What year was this incident?
Jesus, I don't really remember.
Okay. All right.
I don't really remember. It was early 70s, I know that. What happened was, well, I didn't live that far from the Compton Armory. It was right up the street. And what the plan was that I laid out to him, that on parade day they only had one guard at the armory, and it would be very easily to go in there and get the weapons.
What role did the Bureau play in allowing you access or to facilitate access to rip off these arms?
Oh, they worked out the whole thing. They made sure that that there were no guards, except for, I think it was there one guard? I think there was one. No, there wasn't. There wasn't anybody, as a matter of fact. That was the thing that was that kind of made me nervous about the whole thing.
Entire movements were weakened without any charges ever being filed. One of the most documented targets was the civil rights movement. The FBI closely monitored Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Declassified records show that the Bureau wiretapped his phones, booked hotel rooms, and compiled personal information unrelated to any crime. The goal was not public safety. Internal communications reveal an effort to discredit him and reduce his influence. In 1964, the FBI sent Dr. King an anonymous letter. The letter implied personal scandals and urged him to commit suicide. The letter was later confirmed by the FBI itself to have originated from within the Bureau. This act, now public record, stands as one of the clearest examples of abuse of power in U.S. law enforcement history. COINTELPRO also targeted Black Panther Party chapters across the United States. Declassified documents show that agents worked to intensify rivalries between black organizations, sometimes deliberately feeding false information to provoke violence. In several cases, this contributed to deadly confrontations. The FBI later admitted these actions were designed to prevent the rise of a unified black political movement. Anti-Vietnam War groups were similarly targeted. College students, professors, and activists found themselves under surveillance. Some lost jobs after anonymous tips were sent to employers. Others were arrested on minor charges after being closely monitored. None of this required court approval. Much of it violated the First Amendment. The program remained secret until 1971. That year, a group of activists calling themselves the Citizens Commission to investigate the FBI broke into an FBI field office in Media, Pennsylvania. They stole classified files and mailed them to journalists and members of Congress. The documents exposed COINTELPRO to the public for the first time. Public reaction was immediate and severe. Congressional investigations followed. The Church Committee, formed by the U.S. Senate in 1975, examined intelligence abuses across multiple agencies. Its findings confirmed that COINTELPRO was real, widespread, and unconstitutional. The FBI was found to have operated outside the law for years. The FBI officially terminated COINTELPRO in 1971, before the investigations concluded. Later statements from Bureau leadership acknowledged that the program violated internal rules and civil liberties. New oversight mechanisms were introduced as a result, including stricter limits on domestic surveillance. No senior FBI officials were criminally prosecuted for COINTELPRO. This fact remains controversial. Despite clear documentation of illegal acts, accountability was largely institutional rather than personal. The damage to targeted individuals, however, was permanent. Careers were destroyed. Families were fractured. Some lives were lost. Today, COINTELPRO is no longer classified. Thousands of pages of FBI documents are publicly available through government archives. They serve as evidence of how unchecked power, even under the banner of national security, can be used against a country's own citizens. The case of COINTELPRO is not a theory or an allegation. It is a documented crime acknowledged by the U.S. government itself. Its release into the public record stands as a warning. Laws and oversight matter. Without them, even institutions created to protect society can become instruments of harm.